So there is something called vanishing twin syndrome, and first I will explain what it is and then how that will affect you in everyday life if you are suffering from that symptom. I can only talk from my own experience. About a year ago I came across that term. First I was very skeptical and I thought it's just another trend that people use as an excuse to justify their behavior. But then the more I went into somatic body work myself, that topic would pop up with different practitioners. I remember at least 4 sessions where this topic would just be taking up some space. And then I thought, okay, I will just not push it away. I will just look what's coming up and work with it. So I actually worked with that symptom or syndrome, however you want to call it, several times through different angles, whether it was family constellation or somatic body work or art therapy. And I also still feel like I'm still in the process of dealing with it. I feel it has several layers because it is so deep. You will most likely need more than one session because it basically started in the very beginning of your life. And the interesting fact is, what I know from my teacher, Annie Brooke, is that she says around 45%, if I remember correctly, of the pregnancies start as twin pregnancies or even triplet or like multiple fertilized eggs pregnancies. And a lot of people, they are not aware of that there is such a high chance that you most likely started as a twin or even as a triplet. Some other experts say every 5th pregnancy, which I think is still relatively high. I think that should be around 20 to 30%. So let's say between 30 and 40%, it's quite likely that people started off as a twin. And that then causes your physical body to have an imprint of a very strong union that was there in the beginning of your existence, like you were not alone. But then most likely within the first few weeks, let's say pregnancy week 8 till 12, I would assume, one of the twins then can vanish, meaning dying off basically, because there's not enough oxygen in the womb, there's not enough nutrients in the womb, whatever, soul contracts, nobody knows. Each woman, each pregnancy is unique, so I cannot really generalize the reasons why they would then fade and vanish. And what then happens is that either the surviving twin can reabsorb the tissue of that dying twin into their own body, which causes them to have 2 kinds of DNA, or the mother reabsorbs the dying twin into her own uterus in the body. So it's actually very interesting from like a medical perspective that the body can even cause an autoimmune reaction because it will identify that DNA as something foreign, which is then most likely that the system would try to fight it off, right? So I thought this is very interesting. And also I can see another pattern here, because very often when you look from like a systemic point of view, from like family constellation, the people that have been a twin in the beginning, they carry some sort of guilt very often. That can look like you don't find your place in your family, you don't find your place in the world. Very often these people, they somehow fantasize about being taken away by an entity, or they just want to leave the planet. They just feel absolutely homesick and they don't know where their home is, you know. So they have that loyalty towards the other twin, which is then existing in the other realms, in, you know, like the realms of the death, or like the souls, the angels, whatever you want to call it. And they have that longing, they want to reunite. So they cannot take on that incarnation. They don't really thrive. They have maybe even some suicidal thoughts. They feel depressed and they always feel alone. And they have such an immense, huge fear of being abandoned, because that's the first imprint in their system, in their own makeup. And so often when you're not aware of that, you keep wondering, why am I anxious attached? Why am I always attracting people that will leave me, that abandon me, that betray me, whatever? It is because this is your very first imprint of this is just how life operates, you know. So what you then can do is, first you can check in with your own body. Your body will know when you now may be wondering, am I a vanishing twin survivor? Ask your body, say it out loud. Say, I know I was not alone when I came down to planet Earth or when I was in my mother's womb. When you say these words, you will sense a reaction in your body. I did. I burst into tears. I was very surprised. I thought this is totally overreacted. Like, I'm crying about somebody that I haven't really basically met. I don't know if that's true. Like, is this just, am I making this up? But then I saw so many other sessions, or as I said, I did other workshops where this topic would always come up, and I knew in my body had an own intelligence which would tell me, this is right, this is how it happened, and now I'm alone. And to have that realization really helps you to be more empathic with yourself, and now also understand why you have such intense feelings in some areas of your life. And another thing that is very typical is because you have been in this union once, now you're trying to regenerate that. You're trying to find that strong bond with other people. And that can look like, maybe you are extremely affectionate, like you always want to cuddle, you always need this touch with other people. Maybe you have a partner and you are extremely clingy, very needy. You always want this, you're almost like merging into the other person. It's like you want to become like them. You would even give yourself up or even die for the other person, you know, that strong sense of sort of almost like unhealthy love of like, I would do anything for you just so you can thrive, you know, that sense of loyalty. And that's obviously an unhealthy codependent pattern that is not so good for your own existence. But once you are aware of where this is coming from, you can work with that and be like, oh, okay, you are here again. It's because of that imprint, you know, and you can really work with your body and teach your body how it feels like to find that union inside of yourself, which is ultimately what everyone is looking for and talking about with finding their SP, the manifesting the twin soul, twin flame, whatever. But it doesn't matter if you had a twin in the first place or not. I think this is an overall topic, I guess, for everyone to find this wholeness within, but it will be especially difficult for those who have been actually a twin. And what you can say, you can basically pray to that soul. You can say, please be my guardian angel, please protect me, please give me your blessing so I can make the most out of this life for myself and for you. So I actually have that double strength, the double energy. I came here to bring something good. Bless my path, bless me and guide me in moments where I'm lost. I call up on you, be with me, I need you. And sentences that are also very touching is, I missed you so much, or I'm missing you so much. We had a different faith or destiny, and it is good, I accept it, and I take this life on. These are the sentences you need to say. You can write them down, you can keep saying that as an affirmation, or you just, as I said, make this little prayer in moments where you really feel just lost, basically. And people who have been triplets or had even more souls coming down with them, they might even have it harder, because what they also do, they always tune into everybody's field. They are these highly sensitive people. And that's very exhausting and very draining. And you might therefore also have a lack of boundaries and, yeah, basically poor boundaries. And it will be exhausting to socialize because you don't have that energetical protection layer around you that would just separate you from your outside world, because you don't have to merge with everybody in order to feel alive, in order to feel one. And therefore I think body-oriented psychotherapy like somatic experiencing is so good, or Feldenkrais method. I just experience it with myself. I see the difference. And it's basically all about coming back into your own body, being grounded through regulation of your nervous system. And when you then add other elements like family constellation, where you then also go back into this experience of losing that twin, being by yourself, and then accepting the grief, accepting the sadness, and turning the pain into a purpose, into pleasure, into joy for life, because it's really all about a perspective. And if you are not aware of it, you cannot act on it. So I really wanted to make that video to put it out there, as I thought it's a little bit underestimated. I also don't think you should make it bigger than it is. But just maybe as a last example, I also did a rebirthing seminar, a workshop where you basically act. It's like theater therapy, if you want to say so. You act as if you were born again. So I had all these tools, and the setup was in a pool. So I had a net. I would go into the net, and then I would have to see how many people are with me in the womb, basically, in the pool. And turns out I had 2 other people with me. So then I had to leave the pool and re-enter by myself, and I bursted into tears. I had so much resentment and fear and anger, and I felt a sense of injustice. I was like, this isn't right. You were supposed to come with me, and now I'm alone, and you leave me down, And it was so difficult for me to then enter the pool and to go into the arms of the parents, like 2 people that represented my mother and my father. And I just didn't want to take it on, but eventually I did. This was one session, then another session was a hypnosis session where I would mentally go into that scenario. And I also had a family constellation where I would be asked to represent the vanished twin. So I could also switch roles, and that also helped me to see it's actually okay to go, because I had my contract of just being here for a short time, and that's fine. I don't need to stay for as long. I just wanted to help you to come down, and now I leave again, that kind of attitude. And that helped me to also be okay with it. And another thing that is just always blowing my mind is art. And I would say art therapy, because making art is like therapy. When I look at my paintings and the things I'm crafting, now looking back over the year of when I first encountered that vanishing twin syndrome, what I would then paint without really understanding at that time what it is, now looking back at it, I can see how my subconsciousness would also work with that topic on a different level through the art. And one image specifically comes to my mind of a painting I did. And in that week, or like 1 week after I made the painting, I made some breakfast, and I wanted to make scrambled eggs. I opened one egg, and there were 2 egg yolks. One breaking and dissolving into the rest of the egg, and the other one staying perfectly fine. And that time I thought, I never had that in my entire life. I'm 33 now, and I've never had a doubled egg yolk egg. And I read up, the chances are in every 1,000 egg is a double egg yolk. So, and I thought, I don't know what this is supposed to mean, but now looking back, I was like, oh, of course, it was again the vanishing twin thing. The thing is, the field is constantly talking with us. And I'm not saying or meaning like some woo-woo and you need to like channel a message or something. It's like you walk on the street, you meet people, you have a conversation. You go to a library, open up a book, and then some word is popping up, and all these signs, all these synchronicities, they tell you something. They are just there for you to see something, to get a mirror of a deeper message of something that wants to be revealed, acknowledged, appreciated, and eventually released. So I can just encourage you, if you're still with me, if you're still watching, then the chances are high that you maybe also have that. If you can sense it in your body, as I said, say that sentence: I know I haven't been alone when I came to planet Earth. Draw, paint with it, go to a body-oriented therapy, do constellation work, do a rebirthing seminar, do hypnosis, whatever calls you, and work with it. And then you will also suddenly feel a shift of like, where before you maybe wanted to merge with everyone and, you know, be everybody's friend and be this social light, have your fingers in every project, being totally overwhelmed and overstimulated because you are so open, then work with that. Look where are your boundaries lacking, you know? Where do you have to strengthen your own system to ground yourself? And where do you really have to actually tell yourself, I'm taking this life on. I'm grateful, thank you, because you died so I can survive. And the most important thing is also that you take off that guilt from your shoulders to say, oh, because you died, I now live. Turn it around, say thank you for that gift. And I will make the most out of it for you and for myself, for both of us. So I think that's a really important thing, to let go of the guilt and to turn it into something beautiful that was gifted for you.